what, in this world of pluralization, where you have people taking it in the first way I described, in the Nova way, we are seekers among other seekers. What are the modes of religious life that you see emerging there? And I just want to mention 3 or 4, and I think we're going to immediately begin to recognize why meditation has a place here. Well, number 1, of course, difference is that people living that kind of life as seekers don't have a strong sense that they have to defend something which is under attack. Whereas people who have very deep investment in the Christendom story, I mean, think of the previous Pope, for all my admiration and sympathy for him, Benedict. He had this sense of we have to mount the battlements and fight off, etc. They don't have this tremendous sense of defense. In a way, Francis is the exact counter example of that, right? You go out there and you live the faith, and you're not feeling defensive. But the second very important difference is that the very old idea, anyway, old in many, many, many faiths, but very old in the Christian faith too, the idea that the life of faith is a journey, that you're moving along a journey of change, of opening, of being led. Gregory of Nyssa in one way, Augustine, I mean, we can go on and on with many, many such examples. This idea comes back into the forefront as something obvious. Right? So the whole discourse of we've got the truth just doesn't, it doesn't ring true to anyone today, because if you're thinking of your spiritual life as a journey, you don't have it. I mean, I'm very confused about what God and Christ. I mean, that's a central part of what my life of faith is. We're trying to move ahead. So this gives you a quite different perspective, and it has very old roots, but it's come back. It's become, if you like, one way of looking at your life has become for people in this world of seekers as an axiom. Right? It's a kind of journey. Thirdly, the issue of doubt. Doubt is something which belongs to this kind of faith on a journey, that there are always things you don't understand, that you're mixed up about, that if you think about them enough, maybe I got it all wrong, that you can't help that thought from intruding, and you have to work through it. And sometimes you find, I hope I go on finding, that attempt to work through is what pulls you ahead on the journey. That's part of what makes the journey move, so that without doubt you would be, without doubt, there is no doubt that doubt is an essential part of this, and you wouldn't be capable of moving ahead if you just tried to stifle doubt, or you thought it was some kind of negative. But then comes the fourth feature, which I think is the most interesting one, and I don't fully understand it, but I feel very strongly it belongs to this, which is what I want to call the ecumenicism of friendship. That if you're on this kind of journey, you recognize other people on a journey, and okay, it's maybe very different. It's sort of direction, or it's guiding light, or it's point of repère, we say in French. I mean, it may be different. It may be Buddhist, and Christian, and so on. So it has this kind of difference, but you can recognize a similar experience, a similar search, and there's a kind of desire to understand, and kinds of exchange emerge. And out of that, a kind of friendship can arise, in which, in a curious way, one strengthens each other's continuing search by reaching across these boundaries. Now, I want to give you a very interesting sociological fact, which no one has explained, I think, but I think makes sense in the light of what I'm talking about. That is, that of a lot of the things of Vatican II, which were put forward and then a little bit slid back from, the one that wasn't really was the ecumenical opening. I mean, Benedict had trouble with that in some ways, but there really hasn't been much sliding back from that. And I want to attribute that to this new kind of age we're in, where this is one of the features is, I want to call it the ecumenicism of friendship. I mean, there's an ecumenicism of, we don't shoot at you, you don't shoot at us. I mean, it's just a very good idea. I mean, if it replaces shooting. But so we patch things up and we get friendly and we meet together and say we're all together and so on. And that's essential when you have certain kinds of movements going on in your society. But it's way behind either praying together, which John Paul did in Assisi, or this kind of exchange that I'm talking about, which I found to be absolutely, common in the world of meditation, right? So